connects with Magmador, shot up and that's good.
Just like that, Wilson from 3 trains it. Garvin again, same one. This time she drains it. What a performance from the Lynx.
It's a warm one in Melbourne today, 33 degrees, and the cheesy sportscaster segue would be to say that it's also a hot one in here. Inside the boombox, the Melbourne Boomers, who are 6-2, they look every bit like the best team in the competition, up against the Townsville Fire, and it's a rematch of last year's preliminary final at that. It was the Boomers who were eliminated from the playoff race by the Townsville Fire. The Townsville on the second leg of the back-to-back. A different start to the season. They've had their COVID problems in recent times and a tough reintroduction to the season with 2 games in consecutive days in Victoria. Corbin Middlemass and championship winning coach Laurie Chiswick on hand. The Boomers and the Fire. What matchup is this in prospect, Laurie?
Well, both of them have had different lead-ups to this particular game. We know that Townsville, as you mentioned, played last night, so they haven't had much recovery time. They had a very light day, so they'll be raring to go, but maybe be a little bit fatigued. And we know, well, Melbourne, red hot. They played a great game against Perth 5 days ago, so they'll be feeling really confident. They've got their full complement of players. They're in the boombox, and they're ready to go.
There are a couple of new players a couple of players for the Melbourne Boomers that we didn't see last week in our nationally televised game. One of them is a familiar face in Tess Madgen, who's back. The other one is Carly Ernst, who we actually spoke to last Saturday. I don't think anyone was anticipating, Laurie, that she was going to play on the Monday night. All of a sudden, she's part of this lineup earlier than we all expected.
Well, she was, but haven't Melbourne got a settled starting lineup? You can see those starting 5 there. They've been so consistent. They've all played sort of around that 30-minute mark, and they've been producing. And I think that's why their results may be why they are right now, is because they haven't had that interruption other than Tess Madgen last week, who we know was out with COVID issues.
The Townsville Fire, on the other hand, they're missing one of their key American stars in Monique Billings, who we spoke about earlier in the season. She's a leading scorer this year, averaging 16 points a game, and yet they come on the road without her, currently struggling with a knee complaint.
Yes, at least it's not COVID. I'm not sure, at least a knee complaint can, hopefully it's not anything serious, but, you know,
competition along with the Perth Lynx.
well, that's the big question mark, isn't it, Corbin? It's what Melbourne Boomers are going to show up for today's game. We saw against Southside that a very depleted and brave Southside that they you know, didn't produce their best basketball, and then they come out 2 nights later and look scintillating against the Perth Lynx. So we'll see who, you know, what team shows up, but certainly Townsville will need to put their best foot forward in order to stay competitive But having said that, I look across the stat line, and really, the stats are very similar to both teams. They're both defensively 69 points per game is all they allow the opposition, and in some of the other stat lines it's similar. So I certainly feel that Melbourne have the edge, especially without Billings, but Townsville are pretty gutsy, and I know they go in with the feeling that they can beat anybody.
Lauren Nicholson out there along with Tess Madgen, Kayla George, so a number of, Ezzy Magbagor, a number of players in Opal's contention. And I've heard it on good authority that the boss, Sandy Brondello, is in the house. It's Townsville and the Boomers, and away we go in the boombox. And Magbagor links up with George. In the first possession, going the way of the home team. That's the Melbourne Boomers in the purple with the yellow accent. And the Townsville Fire on the road, predominantly in black. George's pass almost picked off, got Allen up top, extra pass, catch and shoot for Madgen, misfires, O-board and put back, and George has the first points of the ball game.
Not much Mia Murray could do there. She actually had good position, a good block out, and Kayla just used her size to reach over, get it, and secure that putback.
He's Shug Sutton. Away to Nicholson. He's part of that last Opal squad, and part of the extended squad leading into the next trip. Sutton puts up the first J for Townsville. It doesn't go. I mentioned a few names in contention for the Opals team. It's Tina Rakuzo, another one in the pivot spot for Townsville to start. George has a crack from up top and bangs it down. So Kayla George with the first 2 mates in the game.
And why not? That's her shot. That's, you know, a pick and pop. We know Kayla loves to shoot the 3. We know she's very accurate at shooting the 3. So that's got to be a scout that they've got to get out to that and carry a hand.
Kuzo fouled on her way to the rack. 6th Woman of the Year last year, Zatina Rakuzo, now among the starting unit for Townsville. Another look at that Kayla George make. There's the foul, the reach in on Magbagor. Kuzo first at the line's good. Just 64% to start the year at the charity stripe. Makes good here on her first 2 at the line. Full court trap on for Townsville. The Boomers work their way through it. Here's Allen. Gets a clean look at it for 3. Left it short. Murray pulls down the rebound. Payne lets it fly. No good. Allen competing for the rebound. Nicholson. And then George blocks the shot as Lauren Nicholson looking for an easy basket inside the keyway, and George was having none of that.
Well, she wasn't, and it was a, you know, it was a good scrap for Lauren, and just see the timing of Kayla Francis' block was perfect.
A deflection off of Kuzo as well, so Boomers get possession back. Hot start for Kayla George, both sides of the ball to make it 3 more. No good. Rims out, Kuzo on the rebound. Sutton off the dribble, blows by George, can't make it on the finger roll. Great skills off the dribble. Here's Tiffany Mitchell driving, shot goes up, no good. Magbagor pulls it down and a foul in the wild scramble. This is some ball handling ability.
Great handles, and really was unlucky to finish that, but Kayla George was there to just change her shot, just to intimidate.
Ten left on the shot clock. Allen up top to George, down low Magbagor, second attempt, it's up and it's in.
Well, you can tell that it's a focus of the Boomers to get the ball inside and use their height advantage, especially with the athletic Ezzy Magnabor.
Tough shot up from Murray, hand on the way through from Mitchell. Tremendous D. The Boomers ball on the baseline.
Really good player movement by the Boomers to start this game.
Here's Allen, pulls up off the dribble, and that's good. So hot start for Melbourne.
Well, so far they look like they brought their A game today, which is a good thing for Boomer fans.
3 or 4 makes from the field to start. Payne goes to work on George, kicks it back out to Sutton. 7 left on the red numbers. Sutton off the dribble. Long range from Murray. She's fouled in the act of shooting. And so Mia Murray will head to the free throw line to shoot 3.
Yeah, she took her landing specs, Kayla.
You heard the explanation there from the ref.
She took her landing specs. She didn't get her on the arm or anything. Yeah, you ran through and she hadn't landed yet.
Tiffany Mitchell wasn't happy with the call. How'd you say it, Laurie?
Well, I think the ref explained it well in that you have to give the player room to land, and she took that space away, so therefore that's a foul. And of course that rule's in there for safety reasons too. You can't have people landing on ankles and feet. And
makes 2 of 3 at the line there, Murray. 5-point spread. These two teams played out the preliminary final last year where Townsville were able to prevail. Really surprised everyone to go all the way through to the final last year, eliminated the Boomers. And Magnabor going to work down low, and Akuzo finishes over the top.
Akuzo had great defense. There was nothing she can do. Ezzy just used her athleticism to just jump that little bit higher.
Sutton swings it back out. Murray to Payne. Down low, Akuzo trying to return the favour. Backs her way in on Magnabor. The jump hook's no good. Tess Madgen is just like the glue piece in this team, isn't she, for the Melbourne Boomers? Making her return back on Monday night after being in the COVID protocols as the shot from Mitchell misses and Sutton on the rebound. Megan Huswaite courtside.
Steph Reid getting ready to come into the game from Townsville, who have just called a timeout, so I'll give you an update from there.
And Lindsay Allen just picking the pocket here of Shook Sutton, and then in the open court had no problems about rolling down for the easy lay-in.
That is definitely what you call picking the pocket for sure.
So 13-4 momentum totally with the Boomers to start this game through the first 4.5 minutes. And a timeout called by Shannon Seabohm, the coach of the Fire. Megan Leslie now. Duck inside the Boomers huddle momentarily. Larissa Anderson, a little bit of a pre-chat with Guy Malloy. What would he be saying here, Laurie Chiswick?
Well, he'd be really happy with the start, and I think that's really important, that the Boomers have to become more consistent at having really strong starts and not sort of take time to work themselves into the game. So we've seen some really good action both at both ends of the court, keeping Townsville to 4 points with halfway through the quarter. So I think he'd be pretty happy and would just be fine-tuning things, but keep that energy going. We want to make sure that it stays this way.
Opal's squad named during the week, which we've alluded to. It's Sandy Brondello in the house. She'll join us as part of the broadcast. Tess Madgen, Ezzy Magnabor, Kayla George, all named from the Melbourne Boomers. So they have 3 players in the squad. Lauren Nicholson and Zatina Akuzo, who had the ball in hand there. And here's Nicholson, both part of that Opal squad from Townsville. Here's Payne trying to find her way to the basket. Shot goes up, no good, and Allen, who's been involved in everything for the first 5 minutes, grabs a tough rebound. Kayla George, clean look up top, extra pass, Madgen, got it. A corner three for Tess Madgen.
That's just great teamwork. I mean, Kayla could have shot that, and she had just nailed one earlier, but chose to pass it to her teammate and was rewarded with Madgen filling it up.
Nicholson straight on three, shoots early in the offense, no good, so it's at double digits. That last shot must have had a foot on the line, Madgen, so they've only credited her with 2 there. 11-point spread, pick and roll for McMagor, shot up, all the way around the world and no good. And a foul called on Ezzy as she moves in trying to grab the O-board. 11-point spread.
So purple.
Megan Husway courtside.
Carly Ernst into the game for Ezzy Magbegor, and the rotations are starting to happen for Townsville. You can imagine there'll be a few of them given this is the second leg of their weekend. The experienced Michaela Cox into the game for the first time this afternoon.
So that Opals team go away the middle of next month. There's a camp at the start of February. And with both George and Magbegor missing from the front court, Ernst really initially there as cover. There's a great bit of work from Reid and Akuzo with the basket.
That was a really nice finish by Akuzo. Just soft hands, finishing with her left.
And they're all available though with Ernst alongside George and Magbegor. They're going to be one hell of a unit, the Melbourne Boomers. As Madgen along the baseline, great work, finds her way to the basket and kisses it off the window for 2. Back to 11 points. Equal game high. Hot start for the Boomers. Nicholson driving. Shot goes up. She's fouled. And the foul's going to be on Tiffany Mitchell. That'll be her second. 11-point spread and no points as yet for Tiffany.
That's just smart of Madgen, recognizing that she has the height and strength over the matchup of Michaela Cox, and just... that's experience. I mean, Michaela's certainly a very experienced player herself, but Madgen does have that height on her.
Kayla George, first 5 points of the game, has 3 rebounds and assists to go along with it. And that's Lauren Nicholson's first points in the game through the first 7 minutes.
Kayla George is averaging 11 rebounds per game, which is 3rd in the competition. So it's really important when Carly Ernst comes into the game that she concentrates on getting some boards too. As we know, that could possibly fill the gap when Kayla's away.
She's 2 of 2 on this trip, Nicholson. So they're 6 of 7 at the free throw line at Townsville Fire. And I'm no maths major, but if you do the numbers at home, Laurie Chiswick, that means they've only made 1 field goal to start the game. So they're 1 of 7 at Townsville Fire. It's the Melbourne Boomers on offense. George to Madgen. Madgen pulls up from the elbow, catches the front of the rim. Back downhill, Townsville. Nicholson. Cox free in the corner. Dribble penetration, shot goes up, no good. Ernst on the rebound.
See, I think you can credit the Boomers for their great help defense to the fact that they haven't got any good looks out there. You know, that was a drive to the basket. Carly Ernst came across and helped and really changed that shot.
Madgen recovers it. Ernst pulls up, doesn't go. Here's Cox, the vet for Townsville. Down low to Akuzo, swings it to the weak side. Nicholson, loose handle, catch, can't finish. Misfires from long range, 1 of 8 from the field, Townsville. Allen inside, links up with George in the reverse layup. Great pass, great vision, Lindsay Allen, and Kayla George does the rest.
It was such a good assist as she was driving in. She knew exactly where Kayla was going to go and really made that picture-perfect pass.
Izzy Wright out there guarding Nicholson. Bounce pass to Reid. Reid gets inside. Away to Akuzo, and the shot goes up. She's fouled. Gee, Stephanie Reid got away with that. The pass through to Akuzo.
That's just such a great example of going to the right receiver spot as Lindsay Allen drove, and we saw on that replay Kayla just circling under, and a great pass finish.
I was a bit worried as to how many steps she may have taken there on the way through the keyway. Akuzo hits the first. You didn't have any problems with that, Laurie?
Kayla's?
Stephanie Reid's on the pass to Akuzo. I'll get you to have another look at it.
I wasn't counting, Corbin.
Second shot misses, ends up over the baseline. 10-point spread. It's going to be Townsville ball. Payne to Murray to Reid. 8 left on the red numbers. Reid pulls up a 3 from long range, misfires. George pulls down the rebound. 7 points, 4 boards in the opening quarter. Down low to Ernst, backing her way in, left-handed finish. No good. Hot minute left of the opening quarter. Here's Murray off the dribble. Shot goes up, hand on it the way through. Nice work. And the Boomers, I think it was Brewster had a hand. Brewster had a hand in there. Melbourne recover the ball. George, catch and shoot for 3 more. Does it again, Kayla George.
One thing Kayla, I think, is improved on is the speed at which she's getting her shot off now. So she's always had a great shot, but that just catch and shoot, that was quick. That did not give any defender time to contest it and get a hand up.
Great shot, rims out. 13-point game. It's a game-high margin. Ernst. You know, she's lethal from out here. Bangs bodies with Payne and a foul called. Is that Kayla George stroke? She too lethal from anywhere on the floor. Ernst up top. 13 seconds to go before quarter time. Bounce pass back to Allen on the jump shot. No good, and there's a whistle on that underneath the basket, and it's going to go the Boomers' way. Foul called on right. It'll be against Michaela Cox.
I really like the chemistry right now that I'm seeing on the floor with the Boomers, and the way they're looking for each other and really making good decisions.
5 seconds left in the quarter. Allen drives up top. Is he right? Catch and shoot. Yes. 3 more for the Boomers. It's been one-way traffic in the opening quarter.
To everyone who said we're not strong enough, not fast enough, wrong. We're crossover queens, scoring buckets, taking names and hitting no-look threes. We fight for every ball. And do we dunk? Hell yeah. When we roll into the court with nothing to lose and everything to prove, you're in for a show. She got style, she got balls, she got belief, she got game.
And it's all clicking offensively for the Melbourne Boomers, Laurie Chiswick.
Well, I mentioned that they're really playing well as a team in the chemistry, and when you have 6 assists in 1 quarter, that means they're looking for, they might have a good shot, but now they're looking for a great shot from their teammates. So I really am impressed with the Boomers. And what else I'm impressed with is that their defense, you know, anytime that Townsville try to penetrate in, they're just collapsing and taking away that inside presence. And maybe it's a strategy given that Townsville over the course of the season so far only shoot the 3 ball at 27%, and certainly right now they're 0 from 4. So, but they are clogging up that middle and giving Townsville nothing inside.
Mentioned Sandy Brondello's in the house. We'll catch up with her at halftime. The Women's World Cup is around the corner, which is going to be played here in Australia this year. Looking forward to that in September. World Cup returning to Australia for the first time in 27 years, 38 games across 10 days. womensworldcup.basketball for more information. First points of the second half, perhaps here, not quite. Mia Murray from the corner.
Really good shot by Mia Murray. She recognized her defense was going on top of the screen, so she flared out to the corner, just didn't connect.
Megan Huswaite courtside.
Guy Malloy, no surprise, very happy with the ball movement of his team at quarter time, and as we've seen, they've gone with their normal starting 5 to begin this second term.
Tiffany Mitchell and Izzy McMcGaw both with 2 fouls in that opening quarter. Mitchell with her first points there, caught behind the screen, and Lauren Nicholson gets a clean look at it, hits the jumper. We called the game last week, our nationally televised game, the Boomers and the Flyers. She started slow there as well, Tiffany Mitchell, but seems to always get her 16 or 18 that she's averaging throughout the year so far. And an early bucket here in the second term. Great bounce pass through to Kayla George, and George is up to 12.
Her and Lindsay Allen are the two-man game that they are playing is so nice to watch.
Margin at 18. Reed off the dribble. Takes on Mitchell. Off the window for 2.
That's the sort of thing Reed is capable of doing. She just has a cagey way of being able to change her pace and get inside. And here we see Ezzy just too easy. That was a wide open look. There was no defense there, no help defense at all.
They are clicking offensively, the Melbourne Boomers, to start this game. Nicholson makes her way to the basket, gets around Madgen. Nice bit of work from Lauren Nicholson. Just highlights both ends of the floor here. The offense is flowing in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. George down low, McMcGaw shot up and one to come. Akuzo called for the foul, and Ezzy heading to the line.
One shot. One shot, Todd. 13. One, yeah.
McMcGaw, 15 points a game she's averaging so far this year. Just at 53% though from the foul line, so a little shaky. Hits the M1 there. Back to 19 points. The spread in the game. Reed off the dribble, long 2, a little too long on the shot. Akuzo, the O-board, the putback, can't finish. Allen scraps for the rebound. Last touch by the Boomers, it'll be Townsville ball.
Well, Townsville seem to be, you know, making some progress as far as scoring goes, but because they're just changing baskets, exchanging baskets with the Boomers, they haven't made any inroads on the margin at all.
Akuzo bats her way in, jump hook finish. Must admit, Lindsay Allen is one of my favourite ballers in the comp right now. I mean, even that last play up there with the big trees are competing with Akuzo for the rebound. Well outsized. Here's Madgen to Allen up top for 3. High arcing shot, little long. Great rebound, pulled down by Lou Brown. Getting some burn early in this game. Madgen to Mitchell in the corner. Thinks about it, takes the shot, off target. "17-point game. Townsville 5 of 16 in the game from the field after going 1 of 10 in the opening quarter. bullies her way through. Nicholson can't finish. Up the floor.
Oh.
Great bounce pass. Allen to Brown and finishes.
Lindsay Allen. What a fun player to be a teammate with. She is going to find you if she's open, if you're open, and you better make sure your hands are ready because any pass is coming your way. She's got such great vision.
Kuzo muscles her way to the basket. She's fouled. Zatina Rakuzo up to 9. Lindsay Allen's stat line already in this game, 5 assists. There's 4 points offensively, but she finds a way to get her teammates involved.
That's the thing with Lindsay Allen is that she can be a real scoring threat. We know she can light it up from that three-point line or a pull-up J, but the fact that she can be such a facilitator with her teammates is really important to this lineup.
Kuzo misses the +1 at the line. There's McGregor taking on the defender. The shot doesn't quite drop. More foul shots coming up for Ezzy.
The thing that's really impressed me so far this game is because the starters for Melbourne have come out ready to play and have built this margin and have continued to build on it. It gives the opportunity to get minutes into players such as Lou Brown out there that we see and you know, because down the track when the Opal squad is there, they're going to need those players. So rather than just getting them on at the end of a game, these are such valuable minutes.
Lou Brown averaging only 5 minutes a game, the 26-year-old, but as Laurie mentioned, in the game early. The number 7 singlet there for the Boomers. A full court press on for Melbourne. 6 to go before half-time. Wide margin in the game. Akuzo the handoff to Sutton. To Murray, to Nicholson. Down low to Akuzo. Trying to work baseline. Shot goes up and gets the shooter's roll. Akuzo taking on McGregor. Shot to 11 points, Tina Akuzo.
Well, that's a good way to impress Sandy Brondello. You're going against a player that's known, that's going to make the team, and Ezzy, and if you can score against her and show that you can compete, it's a great product for her.
Fun game too, free flowing. Both teams getting plenty of shots up. Sure, as a purist, Laurie, and your coach's hat on, there'll be elements defensively. I'm sure that both coaches will be trying to stress, but good fun for the neutral watching at home. He's Shook Sutton. Pulls up, shot is long, and Brown with the rebound. Scanlon to Brown. Two of the bench players out there. Mitchell creates herself off the dribble. The fadeaway, gorgeous shot from the baseline, Tiffany Mitchell.
You're right in what you said, in that she just sort of goes about and does her thing, and then all of a sudden she really steps up and comes up with some highlight reels.
Murray in the corner. We've seen that plenty of times across the years. Can't make it here. Scanlon, plenty of tempo up the floor. Can't connect with Brown. Reed keeps it alive. Townsville back down the floor. 2-on-1. Akuzo, more points. She's up to 13. It's Tina Akuzo. She just finds a way, doesn't she, to get her shots up in the flow of the game. Tiffany Mitchell, regular starter in the WNBA. Had plenty of players, particularly the Americans, that have come out here as imports in recent times that have sort of feature in the WNBA, but Tiffany Mitchell, she's a consistent starter, 27 minutes a game. Valuable asset to have here in the competition. Timeout called, 16-point spread. The Melbourne Boomers opened up a 16-point break at quarter time. Here's Shannon Seabone, coach of the Fire.
With either of these guys, Shakes or Miami, right? Yeah. So go Tess, go, or even whoever Tess is guarding, they carry it. And we go Shakes, keep playing out of that, right? You're spreading the floor. Hey, out of this though, let's go Mia, Z, Steph, Shug, Loz, right? So punch 2, come off Mia's side, you roll to there. Z, as soon as we come off you, go and down screen. Mia, you come off, right? If we don't have the shot, swing it, and then go in the post again, right? Keep playing off that. Hey, we're right there. We're just going to keep being aggressive on offense. Good job. Fire. Good job, girls. Good job, Lozzie. Good job.
They missed their games in round 7. The Townsville Fire, they had a sort of wave of COVID sweep through the camp. A lot of the players testing positive. The rest of them entering protocols as close contact. So it's been a tough week to 10 days for the Townsville group. And then as they return to the court, they're on a road trip to Melbourne or to Victoria with back-to-back games in Bendigo and now here in Melbourne. So a tough couple of days for the Fire. Now they find themselves 16 down. Megan Huswaite.
Tough times in the league with COVID, as we know. And Townsville have a familiar face on their bench today. It's legendary Bulleen Boomer and Melbourne Boomers physio, Gayleen McKay. The Fire don't have a physio with them this weekend in Victoria. She had today off and she's agreed to help them out. So it's wonderful to see that happening in the league right now.
Absolutely. It's all hands on deck, isn't it, Laurie Chiswick at the moment?
Gayleen's such a legend of our game. And, you know, not only as a physio, she was a player. And, you know, to step in like that and help out is fantastic.
Murray's shot rattles out. She's 0 of 3 to start the game. Mia Murray. There's the 3-pointers overall. 0 of 7. Wouldn't be betting against Mia Murray in the corner for too long. I think we've seen that too often.
That's right. Just when her team needs it in crucial situations, she's there to nail that shot.
3-time championship winner, over 300 games. Grand final MVP, the Rachel Spawn medalist. A few years back, Mia Murray. Here's George, sensational to start the game. Add some more points. The mid-range game now for Kayla George. The 14 leads all scorers, had 10 in the opening term to go along with 4 boards. Took the 6 rebounds and on double-double watch here before half-time. The double team, Reed works her way through it. There's Murray in the corner to get her day going. She fills it up from long range.
She must have heard us, Corbin, talking about that corner 3.
First made shot of the night for Mia Murray, her 4th attempt. Kayla George cannot miss. She's up to 17.
You know, and she's just, I was just watching her on the last defensive possession, actually, and the way if she shows on this on ball, but she's just so active. So she's not only doing it at the offensive end, but defensively, she's really working hard.
Lucky not to be called there. Akuzo works her way in and out the foul on Kayla George for the reach in. That's her first personal for Kayla George. 2 on Mitchell, 2 on Magbugaw. Both fouls committed in the first quarter. Meanwhile, Nadine Payne and Lauren Nicholson have 2 for the Fire. There's Eliza Fabro on the left on her first road trip, as we touched on in the opener. Still awaiting her first involvement in the game. Sutton off the dribble, drives to the rack, lays it in.
Really good use of a high on-ball screen and then a re-screen, recognizing Kayla George was then on her. She's got the foot speed and hard to the basket.
Tully Ernst back, bullies her way through, links up with Izzy Wright. Right with the basket. Keeps it at 20 points.
Really good off-the-ball movement recognition. Another nice drive by Sutton into the paint there. Boomers need to take care of business there. They were so good in the first quarter of clogging up the middle.
Izzy Wright misses. Saw her catch fire last week. Izzy Wright trading bombs with Maddie Rochi at one stage in the Melbourne Derby.
Well, she's somebody that we talked about last week in that she stepped into the starting lineup when Tess Madgen wasn't available, and she played valuable minutes. So, you know, when those players are gone, she'll be ready to go.
She saw the basket made by Shug Sutton. Her name on her birth certificate's actually Alicia Sutton, but goes by Shug, which is short for Sugar. 23-year-old, drafted by the Washington Mystics back in 2020. At a Texas Uni NCAA system with the red sneakers. Steps on the shooter here, so Mitchell will sit down after making a couple at the line. She's got 6 in the game. Back to 20 points, and here's Sutton with ball in hand. The handoff back to Sutton. Superb handles. Trying to work her way around George. George slips over, pass to Murray, long range 3 off target. George comes up with it for rebound 7. Early advance picked off Courtney Woods. Her first involvement in the game. Reed to Murray, handoff back to Sutton. 10 left on the red numbers. Murray, bounce pass through to Payne, pump fake, player free in the corner. They use all of the 24, and well worked as Courtney Woods makes a clean look in the corner.
Really good usage of inside out. So got the ball inside. The defense collapsed. You can see Mia driving, then Nadine Payne, and left wide open Woods, who nailed that corner 3.
They've hit 24 points in the quarter. The only problem is the Melbourne Boomers have hit 25, so they lead it at the moment by 17. After a lopsided opening quarter the Boomers' way, it's been a very entertaining second term, but the margin's still 17 in favour of the home side.
Kayla, you take the ball out of bounds. I want LA and Izzy back here. Preferably go to LA. Or end line, go to LA. You cut to the middle and hook in the middle. You go deep, you're deep. All right. Now we go zone roll. Man or zone, zone roll. All right. Move the ball. Get a great shot here. All right, now we've got some fouls to give to stop the clock. I don't want them to score, though. All right, here we go.
I think that's good advice from Guy Malloy, that often coaches change up their defense coming out of a timeout. Maybe Townsville will throw a quick zone, so he's called a play that you can use against either man or zone, and it doesn't matter what the Fire come out in.
Trying to do some quick numbers off the top of my head in box scores, but I think Townsville are 9 of 13 in the quarter, which is a tremendous effort after going 1 for 10 in the opening term. Great work, the full court trap. Townsville forced the turnover. "17-point game, momentum back with the Fire here, giving away a big head start. Sutton, step back, neat finish. Shug Sutton. Just a tremendous ball handler, and nice stroke, gets off the shot in rhythm. 15-point game. Here's Ernst, pulls up, top of the keyway, left the shot a little short, and the rebound for Payne. She's fouled as she comes down with it. I'm doing the quick numbers on my top of my head here, Laurie, but I had Melbourne down as 8 of 15 from the field at quarter time, which would make them now 17 of 25 and 9 from 10 in the quarter. Amazing efficiency. Final 3 seconds of the second quarter. And time's going to run out on Mia Murray. That'll do us to half-time. So in the end, Townsville edged the second quarter. They were down by 16 at quarter time. They're now down by 15 at the half. 50-35, the Melbourne Boomers lead it by 15 points, where both teams shot the ball at an astounding clip, Laurie, in that second quarter.
Well, they certainly did, and you know, the Fire will be ruining the fact that they had such a slow start and gave them that big margin, because really that was basket for basket that second quarter, and unfortunately they didn't make any inroads, but at least the margin didn't expand at all.
They went 10 of 14 in that quarter. as I just pointed out moments ago, 9 of 10 Melbourne Boomers from the field in the second quarter. Megan Huswaite courtside. Megan.
The only thing hotter than the stadium at the moment is you, Kayla George. Wow.
Thanks, babes. Appreciate it. I was just saying every time it's this hot, we always meet at half-time. We're sweating bullets, like you said.
That is an unbelievable first half from you and your team. You are captain. I want to ask you about some of your benchies coming on and having an impact. It was awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I mean, they're at training with us and they're working just as hard, so I'm glad that they're getting rewarded with some good minutes and some good contribution. It's what we like to see.
And you're going head-to-head with Zatina, who you'll be going head-to-head with at Opal's camp next week. So how are you enjoying it out there?
Yeah, I mean, she's a strong girl, but I'm always enjoying it. Have a bit of chit-chat on the block before the ball gets over the half. It's always a bit nice. But, yeah, she's my former Fire teammate. And actually, it's 4 years today, our Fire championship where we beat the Boomers. So that just had a memory on Facebook come up. So Fire up for 4 years ago, but not now. Boom up, I don't know.
Happy anniversary, Kayla George. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, babes.
Kayla George, 17 points. Half-time in the WNBL, it is the Melbourne Boomers who lead it by 15 points over the Townsville Fire. They led by 16 at quarter time and a highly entertaining, free-flowing offensive affair in that second quarter. Megan Huswaite is courtside. She has the coach of the Australian Opals, Sandy Brondello, alongside her. Megan.
I sure do. Sandy Brondello, the head coach of the Australian Opals and the new coach of New York Liberty in the WNBA. Great to see you, Sandy, and you just arrived here in Melbourne today.
Yes, I have. It was a long trip from America, but it's great to be back, and it's a really high, entertaining game today.
Well, there's Opals all over the floor today, which is wonderful for you to see. The Opals squad for camp was announced this week, and I'm sure you like what you've seen so far today.
Yeah, no, I have. Obviously, the Melbourne Boomers, obviously their starting five is very strong, but I love what Zatina's doing down the other end, and Townsville's got a lot of work to do, but I think it's a really high standard. It's great to watch.
Sandy, it's Laura here in the studio. I just wanted to ask you, given these qualifiers coming up and looking towards the World Cup, do you look at, what's your mindset as far as exposing youth or looking at really current experienced players?
Laura, it's probably all just about getting to look at everybody. I think the squad, you see that we do have a great mixture. And for us is more like going into camp and working out what's that best 12 we want to take over the qualifiers and starting to build up. You know, it's a big year, obviously, with the preparation, and we want to take a look at as many players as we can. And, you know, a lot of those players are here today.
So the point guard position is of particular interest given the absence of Mitchell and Ebzery now. What are you looking for in particular for that position moving forward?
Yeah, look, I think that's the position that's really wide open at the moment. There's, you know, we can go many different ways. We know that Sammy Whitcomb can move back to the one. But look, we've got to, see how Shyla goes. Maddie Rocci. Some other players that didn't make the squad, like Christy Wallace, I think she's really coming on. She's not in this current squad, but she'll get her opportunities as we go forward. And, versatility, I think that's the best. I mean, what do we need to make sure that we're the best possible team come September?
Well, you certainly, I know you've got your work cut out for you and your coaches, but you've got some wonderful players to pick about. How are you at all concerned about your safety going into Serbia, given the recent deportation of Novak Djokovic?
Look, we've got a job to do, and we've got to go in there and know that we're going to be a hostile environment, especially when we play Serbia. But we got to control what we can control, and that's our effort and our focus, and try and block out the rest of it. But surely we're going to be safe. I mean, they're going to take care of us, and that's we had nothing to do with that result. So we'll go there and we want to compete at the highest level.
Sandy, really appreciate your time. Good luck in Serbia. All the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sandy Brondello, the coach of the Australian Opals there at halftime. So straight into the country, straight to the basketball, of course, the coach of our Opals team getting set to take off to Serbia next month. Second half action just around the corner.
We were thinking of having a cruisy day.
Maybe grab a pastry and a coffee.
See some street art.
Maybe go to a museum.
Grab a gelato.
And have afternoon tea.
Any suggestions?
Third quarter action upon us. The Townsville Fire a long way down in the game, outscored by 16 in the first quarter, but that second term, both teams shot the lights out. 9 of 10 from the field, the Melbourne Boomers, and Townsville went 10 of 14. Great to hear from Sandy Brondello, the coach of the Opals. A fair bit to pick apart there, but straight off a flight from America, and here she is at the WNBL. I'm sure before she's even had a chance to get any kip.
Oh, I agree. And, you know, she says she's been watching all the WNBL games from America so that she can get a feel of these players, and that's really how they had to pick this squad. And now she gets to go to camp with them and really nut out these 16 and get it down to 12 to go to the qualifiers.
We could have asked about 140 questions, I think, to Sandy Brondello, but time is of the essence. Second half action upon us. Megan Huswaite is courtside. Megan.
I've just had a chat to Shannon Seaborn out of the Townsville rooms at halftime. We've got to pressure the ball. That was his main message to the team at halftime, given the shooting percentage Melbourne are going at in the first half. But still pretty hopeful and positive that they can continue to build on some of that momentum they gained in the second quarter. Zatina Akuso getting some work to her knee just out of the halftime break, but she is fine. And what a good rap she got from the Opals coach Sandy Brondello in our chat.
A bit warm inside there as well, Megan. You didn't manage to bring a fan or any sort of type of cooling system along with you, like an ice vest or something like that?
I'm on the lookout for an ice vest, but we did do the game here, as you mentioned, Corbin, last week, so I knew what I was in for today, and I've made myself a fan out of some cardboard, so I'm just fanning myself on the sidelines.
Oh, it's much cooler here in the booth, I must say. We've got very nice conditions, but that's why Megan's such a pro. She's braving the elements down there courtside in the second half is upon us. By the way, the rumour's true. Is Lauren Jackson making a comeback?
Well, Corbin, I was a bit disappointed that you didn't ask Sandy that question at the end. Just throw it out there. Is LJ coming back? Are they looking at her? Have they spoken to them?
It's like the equivalent of Michael Jordan at the Wizards, isn't it? Just out of retirement to come back and still go around. I think LJ, she's 40 now. She hasn't played since 2016, but I'm here for that. Absolutely. Steph Reid starts the scoring in the second half, so the gap closed to 13. Best to ever do it in women's basketball. Lauren Jackson, potentially a return to the hardwood. Oh, Madgen loses the handle. Reid has it. One-on-one, downhill, takes on Allen, shot up, can't finish.
Oh, unlucky for Reid. She did all the hard work and really pushed it.
George, pull-up jumper, misses at 17 and 7 in the first half. Nicholson, clean look for three. No good. Nadine Payne pulls down the O-board. They reload. They've got a bit of a pep in their step here, Townsville, for the first part of this third quarter. Payne takes on McGregor. Shot's good.
I exactly agree with you, and I'm glad to see they're getting rewarded for some of the things that they're doing, because there's nothing worse than having a pep in your step but not getting rewarded on the scoreboard.
It's back to 11. Hasn't been that close since the opening quarter. Did trail by 16 at quarter time, the Fire. Here's George, baseline J, that's good.
So that's 2 times down the floor they've run that exact action. Kayla missed the first one but nailed that second one. So Townsville will have to be aware of that and make adjustments accordingly.
Reid to the corner, Nicholson down low, Payne backs her way in. Akuso, deep 2, that rattles in, Zatina Akuso.
She is playing with a lot of confidence, and what a great game with Sandy Brondello sitting in the stands watching her.
She's up to 15, Zatina Akuso, the leading scorer for Townsville. George has 19 and 7, and Ezzy McGregor also in double figures with 10. So the bigs with all the points. Tiffany Mitchell trying to change that across the front of the rim, doesn't go. Madgen pulls it down, lost it. Nicholson back the other way. Nicholson all the way. Off the window, no good. Madgen and Nicholson scrap for it, a jump ball call.
Well, as Megan mentioned, the focus for Townsville or for Shannon is defensively, and I feel like they are they're up and in a little bit more, they're being a little bit more proactive, and so defense creates offense, and so they've got that little bit of momentum going their way right now.
.11 spread. We haven't seen Melbourne since Monday. Had a thrilling win over the Perth Lynx, won that by 3. They played 2 games last weekend, both decided by a basket. Their other one a win against the Flyers on Saturday. Meanwhile, Townsville, they played last night. A 10-point win down in Bendigo. Mitchell catches on the perimeter. Tries to get it out to the corner. George eventually left it short. They recover the ball, the Boomers. Opposite corner, Allen for 3. No good. Murray the early advance. Here's Reid, lays it home. Second basket of the quarter for Steph Reid.
Well, that's exactly the start they would have wanted, and they've got it under 10 now, which is, you know, now you've got things that you can do with that margin.
3-possession game. A long time since we've said that. McGregor down low on the end of the assist from Tiffany Mitchell. Back to 11. Nicholson from long range misfires, and Allen pulls down the board. Magin in attack mode all the way to the hoop. The charge call against Tess Magin.
Oh, her feet were just out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I must admit, from the naked eye, I thought that was absolutely inside the charge circle, but ref's all over it.
That's why they're out on the floor calling the game, and we're sitting in here in the studio, Corbin.
And I have many more advantages than them from where I am. They still get it right more often than not. 11-point margin. Oh, Murray, awkward landing. Got it out to Akuzo. She's okay. The pass is picked off. Here's Allen. Downhill. McGregor.
Oh, no.
Jams it on the bottom of the rim.
Don't see that very often.
She doesn't leave too many out there, Ezzy McGregor. Still at just 22 years of age.
Yeah, you forget how young she is and how much, you know, much of her basketball career she still has ahead of her.
Reid takes her on, shot up, doesn't go.
Maybe a bit ambitious by Reid to be driving it on Ezzy with the long arms, the reach, the positioning.
Steph Reid averaging 9 a game. Here's Mitchell, gets a clean look at it in the corner. You can't be doing that. All 3 for Tiffany Mitchell.
Well, something that Townsville have repeatedly done is when somebody's driving, you can't help from that corner, because that's just such an automatic pass, and they've scored a few times, the Boomers, from that.
For just their 3rd mate, it's not to be. They're 2 of 13 from long range. As Reid misses from deep. So back to 14, it was down to 9 moments ago. Halfway through this 3rd term, Mitchell muscles her way in on Nicholson. Allen, clean look up top, left it short. Reid, former member of the Flyers outfit, based in Melbourne, 2nd year with Townsville. Works her way past Allen. Oh, Nadine Payne, a little fumble, and collides with Magin, foul called. Nadine Payne, Townsville junior. Averaging 8 and 5 a game to start the season. Probably getting a bit of extra burn on this road trip as well, with Monique Billings missing.
She played really well last night.
Sutton on the inbounds. There's Nicholson, and another foul call. Been very admirable, haven't they, Townsville, particularly after quarter time. Blown off the court in that opening term, 25-9. Margin was 16 then, it's 14 now. Second leg of the back-to-back. Shug Sutton from outside the perimeter. Down low to Akuzo. Flick pass. Nicholson up top. Fills it up. Back to 11.
Yeah, nice teamwork there. Inside out. Nicholson at the top of the key. You know, she hasn't been shooting the ball particularly well, but normally that would be a given for her.
Ernst the handoff to Madgen. Baseline. There's Shug Sutton up with the block. Doing at both ends of the ball. Cox to Nicholson. Nicholson, the dribble penetration, takes on Mitchell. Shot off the window, scored. And another make for the Fire, so it's back to 9.
I agree with that timeout call by Guy Malloy. He just needs to settle his charges and you know, try and take away this bit of momentum that Townsville have right now.
That's a great block defensively for Sutton, and then Nicholson works her way past Mitchell. Just mentioned it was back to 14 points, 57 to 43, and now back-to-back makes for Townsville. Got it to a 3-possession game again.
So run your counters. Run shallow, run dive if we need. Get strong leads and get into offense and get the ball back moving. I don't want one pass and then we've got to make a shot up. You get me? We've got to move. Everyone's got accountability for that. Okay, next play again, we get into a 1 down. If they're in a zone, we stay in the 1 down. All right, now get plenty of space on your inbounds. Defense, ladies, next few minutes, pick up our D. Here we go.
Young Boomers fans having a good time. The team's pretty much led start to finish. 16 at quarter time. They led by 15 at the half. The lead, though, cut to 9 here. Momentum with the road team. Megan Husway.
Well, the only thing missing from the Townsville bench right now is the cowbells that would usually be ringing at a Townsville home game. They are up and about. They know they're back in this game. Michaela Cox going to Lindsay Allen, as we can see, guarding her here.
Allen takes on Cox, gets her way to the rack, shot up, no good. Scrap for the ball, Cox and Mitchell, and jump ball call. I think possession arrow is with Townsville here as well, so they'll get possession. Great work, Lauren Nicholson with the help D.
Yeah, great team rotation on that drive.
Here's Sutton trying to lead this comeback for Townsville through the hands of Payne.
Oh, you could tell that before she caught it, she was thinking about what she was going to do next.
I think it's the time of the year for the tennis, but that's basketball's version of an unforced error. Just straight through the hands and over the sideline. Gets possession back to the Boomers. Momentum with Townsville. Melbourne with a bit of work to do to try and arrest some of that. Ernst to Allen. 7 left on the red numbers. Allen trying to create something off the dribble. Pulls up from the free throw line a little long. And flying through the rebound. Pulled down by McSpadden. Lara McSpadden on the floor. Nicholson driving, left-handed finish.
Wow, you can just see the energy as Megan emphasized coming from that timeout. They are out, up and about.
And he's back to 7 points, Laurie Chiswick. It was 15 at halftime. Melbourne have been kept to 7 points in the quarter. They go to George. Payne got a hand in there trying to knock it away, and Ernst recovers it. New 24.
That's interesting.
Allen down to George, shot up. Foul. Michaela George to the line. She makes one of these two. She's got herself a double-double here. 2.5 to go before three-quarter time. I thought that would have been reset to 14. Doesn't really matter now, does it?
Doesn't really matter, no. I was trying to work that out too.
There's Kayla's stat line. 8 of 11 from the field. 19 and 10. Make it 20. Just a walking double-double. Kayla George averaging 13 and 11 on the season. Those numbers are going north after today. Makes both. So how many much they got left in them, how much gas in the tank as Sutton throws it away towards Payne in the passing lane. George can't finish in the open court, grabs her own rebound. And Melbourne will get a third lick at it. Allen swings it to the weak side corner. Mitchell for three. No good. And McSpadden the rebound. Foul called right on Sutton. Kayla George single-handedly trying to turn momentum in this game. It's been Townsville's quarter, down by 15 at the half. Got it back to 7 moments ago. Nicholson pulls up, nice jump shot, that's good. Back to 7 again.
They're showing so much endeavour and poise right now, Townsville.
Akuso sat large periods of this quarter as well.
McSpadden's been good though. She's got some crucial rebounds, setting some good screens.
I guess the bad thing for the Boomers is that means there's a fresh Akuso on the bench waiting to come on in the final term. Michaela Cox pulls down the rebound on the missed 3 from George. So they weren't as close as 5 points since the opening 3 minutes of the game. Sutton, great pass into the corner, Payne for 3. Can't connect. Just 9 in the quarter for the Boomers. Ernst pops outside the 3-point line, can't bang it down. Sutton the rebound. Away Townsville go the other way. Sutton lost the handle. Hand in there from Ernst, forces the turnover. Up the floor to Mitchell. Mitchell trying to step around Nicholson and she's called for the block.
Oh, we can all breathe now. That was a lot of up and downs with no results really.
Mitchell 9 points in the game. She had 6 of them in the second quarter. Melbourne Boomers Dragon. I'm going to pick the Dragon as the mascot, I must admit. Has the Dragon been a feature for a long time at the Boomers? Mascot?
Well,
you can't remember, can you? Former bullying coach.
Certainly wasn't when I was coaching.
I was going to say, you don't remember
No.
seeing her around back in the day?
No.
9-second differential before quarter time. It's something I'm sure Megan will be all across. I'll check in with Megan. Do you have any update for us, Megan, on the mascot, on the Dragon?
Oh, you know, I love a mascot, Corbin. I
Yes.
believe that Dexter the Dragon was a Melbourne Boomers initiative when Bulleen became the Melbourne Boomers. I'm with you, Laurie. I can never remember a dragon at the Ven in the good old days.
No, not at the Benito Club. There wouldn't have been room for a dragon.
Up top is Kayla George for 3. Kayla bangs it down. She's having some night. She's up to 24.
Townsville want to make sure they get a good shot here. 8 seconds is lots of time.
At 7 in the quarter when the scoring's really dried up elsewhere. Kayla George, 7 of their 12 in the term. Nice work. The extra pass and Kayla George set on the perimeter. Knocks it down. So Sutton at the line here as we close in on 3-quarter time. That's it, every part of the hoop and hasn't dropped. 7 of 11 from the free throw line, Townsville.
Oh.
Second one's long too. They leave some points out there. The half-court heave for Lindsay Allen. Bounces off the window, but it is off target. There he is, Dexter the Dragon, leading the show at three-quarter time for the Melbourne Boomers. The home crowd happy at the moment. They're 10 points clear, 62-52 over the Townsville Fire. But a big quarter from Townsville. They got within 7 on a couple of occasions. Laurie Chiswick, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the junior basketball program across the country for kids aged 5 to 10 is known as Aussie Hoops. Aussie Hoops, a great participation program introducing more than 100,000 kids each year to the sport of basketball. The website, if you want to get involved, aussiehoops.basketball/find a program, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. Wonderful participation sport. Shout out to all our junior clubs and clinics across the country. They do a wonderful job.
Absolutely, and it's such a great way to get the young kids involved and get them involved in a club, and then start their love for basketball, for the game, and just goes from there, Corbin.
Yes. Shout out to my junior club as well. They played for the Spearwood Hawks and then the Coburn Cougars. There's Taylor Simmons, who actually plays in the competition, spent some time with the Cougars in NBL 1 recently.
Are you saying you're like a hooper?
Not a very good one, but did play a little bit of junior ball. That's why I'm sitting here though now. Laurie Chiswick, it must be said, rather than doing anything out there that's anything special. Long way off it. Megan Huswaite's courtside. Megan.
Zatina Akuso starting in this quarter for the Fire. The message from Shannon Seaborn at three-quarter time was keep putting pressure on the paint. Really good job. Let's keep rolling. And no surprise, they're going to look to put some extra work into Kayla George in this final term.
24 and 13, the numbers for Kayla George.
Yes, and as a team, 18 assists at the end of the third quarter. So we can see what sort of a team mentality that the Boomers are playing right now. And that's hard to stop. And whilst Kayla has 24, you know, if she doesn't light it up this quarter, somebody else might.
Basket here would be handy for Townsville to get the ball rolling in this final term. Up top, Nicholson for 3, got it. The straight on 3 for Lauren Nicholson. Back to 7.
And a steal.
Gets in the passing lane, up top to Reed. I'll get 2 looks at it here. Back to 7 points. Haven't been within 5 since the opening quarter. The ball in the superstar's hand for 2 in a row. Just short. Bouncing off the rim. Gee, it would have got me out of the chair. I think I was already out of the chair with Lauren Nicholson from long range.
And with the clock ticking down.
And there's the made 3. And the steal. Time to go for Lauren Nicholson, as the great players always do, trying to inspire a comeback. 7-point spread. 8 left on the shot clock. George up top, swings it down low. Akuso, fingertips to it.
Really?
Shot clock has 4.5 seconds on it.
Really good defense by Townsville right now. They're being disruptive. They're getting their hands in the passing lanes. They're denying people deflections.
Allen to George, catch and shoot. No good. Last touch by the Boomers. Townsville ball. So possession and down 7. It's the 3rd time, Laurie Chiswick, they've been back within 7 points. This is after falling behind by as many as 19 in the game by my count.
Yes.
Reed to Murray. Out there with Payne, Akuso and Nicholson. They are the starters. Here's Akuso. Works her way to the rack. Shot up and it's good. The right-handed finish. The scoop layup. It's a 5-point game.
That was impressive by Akuso, and they need to keep doing that. Just chip away at this. We've got a 5-point game.
Allen, weak side corner. Kayla George, the momentum shifter, bounces out. And Akuso on the rebound. Nicholson lost it. Tiffany Mitchell forces the turnover. In transition, McMagor the finish. Big moment to start this final term.
Well, that's what you'd have to think. If Melbourne can get a bit of a run on, they would have the legs. Townsville not so much, so we'll see if the Boomers can take advantage of that.
Boy, they've been brave, Townsville. I know they came for much more than that. Second leg of a back-to-back, and Stephanie Reid takes on a much taller defender, finishes over the top.
Just her timing of that shot.
She's up to 8 points, back to a 2-possession game. George trying to fight her way through, lost it. And now a tech foul. Kayla George, double team, wanted the foul, didn't get it. Had something to say to the ref on the way through, and he wasn't having it. Didn't hesitate either.
What, Kayla or the referee?
Ref tipped that up quick. She didn't hesitate either. She was hot on him straight away.
So this is a good challenge for the Boomers, well, and the Townsville. I mean, if Townsville can eke out a win here, that would be amazing. But the Boomers just need to show some composure now. They've been up all game. They've certainly got the playing personnel to get this game done. But they're challenged certainly right now.
Last time it was this close, the Boomers led the game 5 points to 2. So you have to go way back to the opening moments of the game. And Townsville, after falling 19 behind, have come all the way back. Timeout called. 4-point spread.
And possession.
Yeah. Here's Shannon Seabohm, coach of the Fire.
But I want Mia coming off the stagger first, and Loz here. So now, Muzz, you're going to come off Nads and Lara, right? Throw it, get it back, and you throw it in. You throw it in, right? Steph, you just come get it, right? Come off the stagger, flip it back, and now sprint to this. Nad set that, you're slipping it, right? Steph, dribble it over, so you've got that as an option. And now, Lara, you're going to get Loz here. So if you can curl that, right, and get in the paint, take it. You've got Nads there and Lara there. Get in the paint, knock it down. Yeah, so come like you're setting it and then go real quick. Here we go.
This is their run. Keep our composure. Stay together.
Shannon Seabohm firstly, and then the back end of Guy Malloy, and it's amazing how the dynamics change in this game. Melbourne playing so freely in the second quarter. Laurie Chiswick went 9 of 10 from the field, and now they're the team that'll be a little tense, and it's Townsville who are free-flowing in within 4 points, having trailed by 19.
Oh, it's been a real massive turnaround. I'm really interested to see if Townsville can execute. There's a staggered screen that he's talked about.
Nicholson. Their floor leader, back to Reid. Reid off the dribble, creates her own shot, gets away to the hoop, can't finish, pulls down her own ball. And a rebound for Stephanie Reid. It's been called a jump ball. Now the handles out from Steph Reid to get to the rack, just couldn't finish on the finger roll.
Again, she's being impressive this afternoon in what she can do and who she attacks. No fear whatsoever. Yeah. And really solid finisher.
A lot of the stuff that doesn't necessarily show up on a stat line. Super impressive. Reid thought about pulling up. 5 seconds, bounce pass. Couldn't quite get it through to McSpadden.
Good stop by the Boomers. They needed that. Now they need to get a really good shot.
Reid will be called for the foul. It's always the question in such significant margins when you make your way back. How many tickets, petrol tickets, have they spent getting to this point in the game? 2 possessions, 6 to go. Melbourne ball. And it comes to Ernst. Magwithor up top. The handoff to Allen. Mitchell, right-hand side of the floor. Down low to Ezzy. Ezzy goes to work on McSpadden. Shot up, no good. Payne had hands on it. Last touch, Boomers. Townsville ball. Oh. Rubber the green goes their way here, Townsville. Nicholson up top. Can she do it again? Drives inside, shot goes up, it's a little long. Mitchell clever.
She did a great job of splitting the defense there, and normally that pull-up J is pretty reliable. just not this time.
Gone 4 of 16 from the three-point line, Townsville. An amazing effort, given that they trailed by 16 at quarter time, shot 1 of 10 from the field in the opening quarter, and yet Townsville are well and truly live in this game and got the wind in their back here.
Well, you got to give them full credit because 1, they played last night, and 2, they're without their superstar, Monique Billings. So really great effort.
Against a fully loaded Boomers team on 6 days rest. Shot up there from Madgen, left it short, rebound for Sutton. Away she goes in transition, takes on Madgen, shot up off the window, and it's good.
Oh my goodness, it's a 2-point game.
Amazing. From 19 down to within 2 against the pace setters in the competition. 2 of their opals link up. McGregor to Madgen, shot block Sutton. Out to Allen, clean look for 3. Can't connect, and Townsville recover it.
All those shots were dropping in the first half of the third quarter and just aren't falling now for the Boomers.
Incredible, they're a shot away from taking the lead, Townsville. Away from home, second night of the back-to-back. Payne drives inside, called for the walk. An extra step on the way through. There's a Sutton finish. And at the other end, hand in the face.
Good help by Ezzy on that, just stopping Nadine Payne in her tracks and forcing her to travel.
Melbourne back in possession. 4.5 to go. Scoring has really dried up in the second half for the Boomers, just 14 points. Mitchell, turnaround jumper, no good. Obord, Ernst, put back, again short. And again they recover it. Third goal at the offense. Madgen off the dribble. George up top, doesn't shoot. Now works inside, puts it up, can't get it to go. And they had 3 attempts, none of them dropping.
Now in that first 3 quarters, Kayla would have shot that shot without even thinking about it, nail it. Now that scoreboard pressure is just putting that little bit of doubt in their mind.
She had 17 to half-time, and Lindsay Allen draws a foul on the defensive end. And it'll be called on Zatina Rakuzo. There it is. The illegal pick. Two-point game. And a timeout called for the Melbourne Boomers. Just 14 points in this second half after leading by 15 at half-time. Check in with Guy Malloy as to what he's got to say. They've got possession here, the Boomers. They lead by 2. They haven't trailed all game.
Trap it hard. Hands are up. Okay, now. Nicholson. Yeah. Now, a couple of things that can happen. You guys keep taking the ball strongly to the ring. Right, you'll get the next finish. Go hard at the ring. Right, so we need you guys to finish inside. The next shot that comes to you guys on the perimeter, believe in yourself. We can make the next one. We'll be fine with it. Now, we go shallow roll. Shallow roll. And again, don't be afraid to keep moving the ball. Moving the ball, and we'll hit the open targets. If we'll beat this team with passing, but now you got to believe in yourself to break them down. Make the shot. All right, here we go. Shallow roll, man or zone.
Belief, a constant theme in that huddle for Guy Malloy, and you mentioned the Kayla George look that she had. She's 4 of 8 from the three-point line. She has 24 in the game. And Guy Malloy just referencing that as well, Laurie Chiswick.
Yeah, I mean, believe in it. Move that ball around and shift the defense. And then if you're open, you've got to shoot it and believe that you're going to make it. And if not, you'll make the next one.
Megan Huswaite courtside.
Townsville very aware that Kayla George also has 4 fouls in these dying minutes of the quarter.
It's a good shout out. Only player in foul trouble as the shot goes up for Allen, left it short. So Townsville get another chance to lock it up. It's, I think, their third opportunity to try and draw level, or perhaps hit the front for the first time. They haven't been able to bridge that gap. Nicholson from the elbow, and it catches every part of the rim, doesn't go. 3 minutes and change to play. Madgen to George. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Allen off the dribble. Now 5. Allen pulls up, free throw line. Again, it's long. And Townsville recover it. A fourth opportunity to try and wipe off the deficit that was as wide as 19 points at one stage. Oh. And for the second time down the floor, Nadine Payne is going to be called for the trouble. What was happening here?
Well, I don't know whether she thought Lauren Nicholson was cutting in a different direction, went to pass it to her and realized she was heading out the other way, but
gee, there are a couple
nevertheless, it was a travel.
A couple of big turnovers going against Townsville. And the Boomers still lead by 2. Mitchell to make it 5. No good off the front of the rim. What can Townsville do this time?
Well, they've certainly had their opportunities to either tie this up or even go ahead.
Whereas the hardest points are they? It's one thing to sort of work your way back from a big heavy number. Can they go ahead? Sutton off the window with assistance, locks it up, 64 points apiece.
Dare I say it? Every time I commentate, I think I'm saying overtime.
George down low, baseline. Jay doesn't get the shooter's roll. Townsville have outscored Melbourne 29-14 in the second half.
Wow.
It's all level. Townsville have not led in the game, and we're inside the last 2 minutes. Momentum totally with the road team. Nicholson for the go-ahead bucket. She knocks it down. And Lauren Nicholson, Townsville's superstar, puts them ahead.
I tell you what, Corbin, they are not feeling any fatigue right now, even though they played less than 24 hours ago. And what a shot by Lauren Nicholson.
We won't have the coaches here in the last 2 minutes of the quarter, but 31-14 is what they've outscored Melbourne in the second half of this game. Just a phenomenal turnaround. Looking back through it, a few of the way the scores read, it was 31-13 at one point in the game. It got as wide as 20 the difference when it was 48-28. And now all of a sudden it's the other way, a 22-point swing. Townsville, after being down by 20, lead it by a bucket.
Well, what a great second half by Lauren Nicholson. She is up to 20 points now. And it's not only that she's at 20, it's the timing of her shots. It's when they've come in big moments, just like we saw there, that go-ahead basket by her.
She only had 6 at half-time, so has been able to work her way into this game as Townsville have worked their way back. Megan Huswaite.
Well, the energy is all in the Townsville camp. 24 hours ago, they were playing against Bendigo. They're showing something really special here. Shannon Seaborn spoke during the week about getting back to the relentless team that they were last season when they made the grand final. He said they had it against Adelaide in round 1. Well, they are showing it in this second half today.
In it comes, full court pressure up for Townsville. The scoring is completely dried up. They dropped 50 in the first half, the Boomers. Just 14 points since. Kayla George inside to Ezzy, goes to work, shot up, again it's long. Another stop defensively for Townsville.
Boomers really need to play that proactive defense themselves now. They can't sit back and let Townsville feel comfortable in what they're doing.
They are rolling offensively, the Fire. And a foul's going to be called on Mitchell. It's a third personal. So 4 fouls for Kayla George. She's got 24 in the game, but 17 of them came before half-time. This has been a staggering turnaround. 20 points the margin. Nicholson up top. who has been enormous. Takes on Mitchell, step back, 2 more. Lauren Nicholson with the second half takeover.
That's the sort of form that Lauren Nicholson, we've been missing from her in the last little while.
Madgen on the perimeter. Allen had a look at it, doesn't take it, bounces off Reed. No call from the ref, shot up, fouled. And Lindsay Allen to the line as Nicholson will be called for the personal. It's her 4th. So the leading scorers, Nicholson with 22, George with 24. They both have 4 personals each, 1 to give.
Well, as I was saying, Lauren Nicholson had a great first up game of the season and then went really quiet for a few games. I almost thought she was injured, but I guess she was, according to her coach, Shannon, was just in a form slump, and she showed signs last night that she was coming out of that. And now, wow, hasn't she been great for her teammates today?
First of the line, good. Lindsay Allen, 76% at the foul line for the year. It's her first points of the second half. She's 2 of 9 from the field. Second shot's good too, so 2-point game, 14-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
Melbourne need to come up with a great stop here and give themselves that opportunity to either tie it or go ahead.
They got to try and stop Lauren Nicholson first. Ball in hand, draws the double team, lost the handle into the backcourt. Over the sideline, Townsville ball.
They chewed up a lot of the clock, though. There's only 7 seconds left.
And a 14-second split between the game clock and the shot clock. This is what the WNBL's all about. What a finish. Shook Sutton straight through the lane. Shot goes up, no good. Melbourne ball, 15 seconds to go, down by a bucket. Here's Lindsay Allen. To George up top. She doesn't take the shot. Back to Allen. Allen into the corner. Madgen for 3. Misfires. They run out of time. Townsville complete the comeback of the season. In one of the best games and comebacks you'll see in the WNBL for many years. From 20 down, second leg of a back-to-back, they come all the way back to beat the Boomers by a basket. Townsville 68, Melbourne 66.
Oh, I've got goosebumps, Corbin. That was amazing. And the fact that Townsville did it, all the things you mentioned, without Monique Billings, and playing a Melbourne team that is red hot and are one of the teams that are championship's favourites.
They kept them to 16 points in the second half after they put up 50 to half-time. They have every right to have those smiles on their faces. The Townsville Fire. What a story. Away from home, Monique Billings missing. A 10-point win last night. They drove all the way back from Bendigo to be in Melbourne. Got to sleep in the early hours of the morning, get up, and after trailing by 20 in the second quarter in a hot gym, they come back to beat a Boomers team that is fully loaded.
Wow, that is something that you have to, you know, the coaching staff, the players, everybody would just be filled with relief.
Lauren Nicholson had 16 in the second half, finished with 22 points to lead the way. She's with Megan Huswaite.
Well, Lauren Nicholson, I've seen you play some big WNBL games, getting into a grand final with the Fire last season, but I reckon the smile and the celebration on the bench there said it all.
Yeah, look, I think we really needed that win today. We've been working really hard the last week after our little COVID break, and that's just a massive reward for what we've put in this season.
That was the form that we've seen you produce best. That's why you're in the Opals team that was announced this week. How did that feel to be a match turner?
Yeah, look, we started slow in the first half and that really hurt us, but we turned it around in the second half and a few more shots dropped, and yeah, it was a great second half.
How tough has the weekend been? No Monique Billings. This time yesterday you were beating Bendigo. You came back to the city last night and you've upset the Melbourne Boomers coming back from a huge deficit.
Yeah, Melbourne are always really tough. We always battle against them really hard. So to come off a game, a grind against Bendigo yesterday, that's just a massive win for our group.
And sum up Zatina Akuso for me in a few words.
She's one of the toughest kids I know.
And this is only the start for her, and it's exciting what's going to be her future. So looking forward to what she can produce the rest of the season.
Hot in here today, so were you, Laura Nicholson. That's a huge win by the Fire. Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks, Meg.
I know the term baller gets thrown around way too much, but she's legit in. Lauren Nicholson, 22 points, 16 in the second half. What an amazing turnaround, Laurie Chiswick. That's how all the final numbers finish.
Well, it was just the way Townsville went about doing it, and the way they upped their defensive pressure, the way they increased their scoring percentage just out of sight in the second half there, and just really played together again as a team, and you can see the stats there. I mean, both teams shot the field percentage not too bad. Fire ended up 46%. Boomers, that three-point shooting, 26% after starting on fire. So that would have hurt them down the stretch. Just that hesitating, should I, shouldn't I mentality when they just shot the ball so well.
Yeah, they were 1 of 10 at quarter time from the field. So if you subtract that from those numbers, they shot the ball at 53% for the remaining 3 quarters, at 27 of 51 in an opposition gym. Second night of a back-to-back, all the rest of it without Monique Billings. Phenomenal. Megan Huswaite's with the coach of the Townsville Fire, Shannon Seabone.
Shannon, you've coached some massive games in your bright WNBL career. That's probably as gutsy as they come.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously the first half, I think we were feeling a bit sorry for ourselves. We played yesterday against Bendigo and have come off all the COVID stuff, but half time we really refocused on the effort and energy that we were giving, and just really proud of the girls' effort and output in the second half.
It was a team win last night. It was a team comeback today led by Laura Nicholson.
Yeah, she's a superstar, and I think people probably doubted her after the last few games, and she's the hardest worker that we've got, phenomenal player, and so happy that she's on our team.
Could go through all the players, but Steph Reid, she's been huge. Coming into the last 2 games, you haven't had Monique Billings. She's showing why she's a bright, shiny star.
Yeah, she is. Steph's awesome. She's the best defensive point guard in Australia. And I think she's, I hope people are paying attention because I think she's the next point guard in the Opals.
Good day for Sandy Brondello to be in the house.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, it's great to see Sandy out here and good for some of our girls to put on a good show.
Spoke during the week about wanting to get back to the relentlessness that you showed as a team last year in the hub. How much did you show that in the second half?
Yeah, well, that was it, and I think that was, we've been looking for that the last few games and we haven't had it. But really proud of the girls. I think we've spoken a lot about that this week, and that was something that really helped us last year. So great to see us find our form and get back to that.
You're sporting a bit of stubble too, which is unusual for you, and I believe that the deal was that if you won 2 in a row, you'd shave it. So off it comes, baby.
Yeah, as soon as I get back to the hotel, it's gone.
It'll be a very enjoyable night, I'm sure. Congrats on a wonderful fight back today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
If you're just tuning in, you've missed one hell of a comeback. The Townsville Fire, they trailed by 20, Laurie, and have walked out of here with a 2-point win. And all the themes which we emphasised throughout the call. No Monique Billings, their star import. The second night of a back-to-back, coming back from really COVID sweeping through this group, so the physical toll of that as well. And yet they've produced a stunning turnaround after quarter time to come all the way back to win.
Well, we would have never predicted that. The call was, it just looked like Melbourne were going to cruise to a fairly comfortable victory, and certainly Townsville had all the reasons why that would have happened, but what a gutsy performance, a gutsy team performance. And as we've mentioned, Lauren Nicholson had just stepped up to the plate, and really the timing of her baskets were so crucial, and we know what a superstar she is. But it was a team effort. Akuzo stepped in there. Steph Reid was fantastic. And even McSpadden, when she came in and played some minutes, her rebounding and her defensive prowess was really great to see.
It was a phenomenal game of basketball. Something special indeed. A 68-66 final scoreline. And the Townsville Fire, who didn't lead at all in the game until the final 90 seconds, they hit the front. It was the only lead change, and in the end they protected a 2-point lead to win it. There's a heap of other stuff happening in the competition. The Opals have announced their squad. That team's off to Serbia. We heard from Sandy Brondello earlier in the broadcast. We've got a heap to pull apart in the wrap-up. That's coming up in about 90 seconds from now. The comeback of the season in the WNBL as the Townsville Fire came from 20 points down to win this game by 2 over the Melbourne Boomers, who, by the way, if you put your finger in the wind leading in, looked every bit as a championship contender. They beat the Perth Lynx back on Monday night, and yet they cough up a 20-point lead here. But we'll get to the Boomers. They're not the story. The story should quite rightfully be the Townsville Fire. Lauren Nicholson in the end finishes with 22 points. 16 of them came in the second half.
Well, wasn't she just a joy to watch? And you know, even when in the first half where she wasn't necessarily putting up big numbers, she was just working so hard all the time. So then to get the reward in the second half by those baskets dropping for her was just fantastic to see. And her teammates needed that. And what a buzz for her and for them.
Michaela Cox, one of the veterans for the Townsville Fire. They've got a couple of them along with Mia Murray as well. They've kept the core in place and brought in a couple of really nice pieces around them. But that's a hell of a comeback victory. She's alongside Megan Huswaite.
She sure is. Michaela Cox back in the WNBL this year after having this little pumpkin, Hazel. Mick, you've played a lot of games for Townsville. That's as gutsy a comeback, I'm sure, as you've been part of.
Yeah, that's one of the best comebacks. I'm so proud of the team. The way we fought in that second half was, excellent.
How do you describe a player and a teammate like Lauren Nicholson?
She is just an excellent teammate. We, so professional, so elite, and just worked so hard. I'm very, very proud of her. She was amazing out there.
And Hazel, what are your thoughts on Zatina Okuso?
What do you reckon? Go Zatina.
Yeah, go see. Huge weekend, getting the 2 wins, and you head back home now. You've got consecutive home games, so a good platform to launch from.
Yeah, it'll be good to have some home games after we had a couple cancelled, and we're, excited to play back on home court.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, Mick, and thanks, Hazel, and have a safe trip home.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.
What a win by the Townsville Fire, one of the best comebacks. We're saying this year, obviously, the comeback of the year so far. It's going to take some beating, and I imagine for a number of years as well. And it means Townsville are now a 4-2 team. Their losses, though, they've lost a game to the Flyers and lost a game to the Caps. It feels like if you look through every single team's form line, Laurie, there are sort of peaks and troughs the whole way through that you can say, oh, look, we think they're at this level, but then they've dipped down and had a loss there. So this just makes it even more challenging to try and establish that early season hierarchy.
Well, before this weekend, I was sort of thinking, well, we've got our top 3 up there that are looking pretty dominant. And then the performance by Townsville in both their games, you go, well, now are they figuring up there? And where does that put the Boomers? We talked about Boomers being consistent. They need consistent play all the time. And if we look at the ladder here, now Townsville's got that 4 wins. I mean, they're right in the mix up there. And I think one thing that becomes really, really clear is that, and I've said it before, no team can walk into a game and expect to win it. Everybody's competitive, and by today's comeback and players missing and COVID and everything, you've got to be so switched on for the whole 40 minutes.
And you have some teams that have played 9 games, some teams that have played 5 games, 4 games in the competition. So that makes it a little challenging as well, just to try and establish sort of where everyone fits. The Melbourne Boomers aspect of all of this, it is part of the conversation. So they're 6-3. They've had a couple of games this year where they lost to Bendigo and Adelaide. They put up only 58 points against the Spirit and 53 points against the Lightning. They put up 50 in the first half tonight and then only 16 after half time. It feels like they have these stretches in games where they just go ice cold from long range. And again, they struggled offensively tonight.
Well, that's a really good point you make, and that's what we talk about, their consistency. So they started well tonight, which is something they haven't necessarily done all season. So that was really good to see. So I guess now they have to work on that consistency all game where they don't have any flat patches, or if they do have a bit of a flat patch, it doesn't have a huge impact on the game like it did tonight. You can play poorly and miss some shots for a few minutes, but as long as your defense is holding tight, which it just didn't today. I mean, Townsville went on that massive run and it changed the whole outlook of the game.
The last play of the game, so in a match in the end, which is decided essentially off the last shot. Talk us through this, Laurie Chiswick, because the Melbourne Boomers had a couple of chances to get a shot off, and in the end it was Tess Madgen who had to heave one up under pressure in the corner.
Well, and you want to get your best earliest shot. Kayla was open there. Why wouldn't she shoot that? She shot so well. Madgen, she put it up as the clock expired, but I just think Kayla needed to shoot that shot first, and you see they went to double it. I mean, she's open for that. And we talked about her release.
she's got to back herself with that because, you know, now that puts Tess Madgen under immense pressure to try and get that shot up in the corner.
She finished with 24 points, Michaela George, but 17 of them came in the first half. She was 4 of 8 from long range. And Guy Malloy pointed it out at one of the huddles as well, where she had a similar clean look in the waning moments.
Yeah.
In the end, didn't take the shot, and in the finish, it was left to Tess Madgen with a tough look in the corner. They walk away with an L. The W is going the way of the Townsville Fire. A spectacular comeback coming from 20 down to win the game by a basket. Megan Huswaite's with us again courtside. Megan.
Well, I'm back with Sandy Brondello for a bit of a post-game review. Sandy, that was a hell of a comeback.
Oh, I mean, it certainly was. I mean, momentum changes, and that's part of basketball, isn't it? I mean, Townsville, I think Shannon gave them a pretty good serve at half-time. I mean, they gave up 50 points in the first half and 16 in the second. So that's an defensive... you know, that's just being really aggressive on defence. And I thought, you know, Lauren Nicholson got going. The ball was in her hands a little bit and she was making shots. There was makes and misses. So that's a great win away from Townsville.
Well, it's a good win too and performance by Nicholson and Akuso when they've been named in your squad this week. They were both fantastic, and I guess from your point of view, that's what you want to see from your Opals, you know, game-changing in the WNBL.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, it's that mindset. You know, no one put their head down. You know, they didn't have the best first half, especially Lauren. So that's the kind of player that she is. That's why she's in the Opals. She's, you know, she's a winner. She plays hard. But I was really happy with how Zatina continues to develop because I think, you know, I think she has a really high ceiling.
Well, Shannon just mentioned in the post-game interview that he thinks Steph Reid is the best guard going around defensively in Australia, and it must be good to look at some players like that are really coming through, you know, and pushing for future honours.
Definitely. Look, I've been really impressed with Steph for the last few years, to be quite honest, and, you know, she's close. So I won't say that she isn't there, but, you know, she's got to keep working and, you know, hopefully opportunities will come for her down the track. But like I said, it was a really great team effort. It really started on the defensive end from then and, you know, making shots.
Speaking of Opals, the Jungle Drums are beating the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Lauren Jackson, may be on the comeback trail. We've got a home World Cup this year. Have you spoken to Lauren?
I spoke to Lauren months ago, to be quite honest. We stay in touch, and she did say that she was interested in doing that. And, you know, obviously I'll give her my support, and it's more about how her body can respond to that. But this is one of the greatest players of all time. So if she thinks she can come back, I mean, why shouldn't she try?
So there's a possibility that Lauren Jackson, the greatest we've ever produced, could play in front of her beautiful boys, and that's why she wants to come back, for the Opals in Sydney in a home World Cup.
Yeah, look, I mean, we have to see what the next few months does. I mean, like, Lauren's just putting the hard work in and just exploring at the moment. So commend her for that. And, you know, she's had a great career regardless of what happens. But she's motivated, so we just got to wait and see.
Who knows? You could be coaching a player you played with.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Make me feel really old then, wouldn't it?
Speaking of coaching, you are the new coach of the New York Liberty. Congratulations, and an exciting chapter starting to build there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, you had 8 great years in Phoenix and, you know, enjoyed, had great memories and made a lot of great friendships, but really excited about this new opportunity in New York. It's, you know, sometimes you just need a little fresh start. I think the team has a really strong foundation. I'm looking forward to working with those players, but it's New York. It's one of the biggest markets. So, you know, if we can add a few more players, veteran savvy with a little veteran experience, you know, hopefully that can give us a sustainable success for years to come.
I guess that's why you've been reportedly talking to Brianna Stewart this week.
Oh, yeah, okay. That didn't come out because of us. But, you know, I mean, why wouldn't she? She's a free agent. This is, you know, I think the best player in the world. And, you know, if we could secure her, it'd put us on to the next level immediately. But, you know, we'll see. It's a big decision for her, so we'll see what happens.
Well, it's an exciting year for you, Sandy. It's been great to catch up with you today, and you certainly enjoyed a WNBL cracker.
No, it was a great game, and congratulations to Townsville.
Yeah. Thanks, Sandy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Megan Huswaite and Sandy Brondello. You could listen to Sandy talk about basketball all day. We're very lucky to have the open.